Some crimes happen in back alleys, some happen behind locked bank vaults, and some happen in broad daylight on a public blockchain where every move is recorded forever. In 2022, hackers stole over 625 million from Ronin network, the blockchain behind Axie Infinity. At the time, it was one of the largest heists in history. Most people heard headlines and moved on, but the money didn't vanish. It moved wallet to wallet, bridge to bridge, mixer to mixer, exchange to exchange. Tonight, we're treating Etherscan like a crime scene. We're going to follow the money step by step using public blockchain data, FBI statements, and official Treasury sanctions. And we're going to show you why the hackers thought they were invisible and why they were wrong. This video is for education and reporting only. We're using public available blockchain data, official FBI and Treasury statements, and blockchain analytics reports. Do not interact with suspicious wallets, do not send money to them, and never harass anyone based on blockchain activity alone. Everything you see tonight is a matter of a public record on the Cobra YouTube channel. To understand the heist, you need to understand the target and bridge. A blockchain bridge is like a customs checkpoint between two countries. You lock assets on one chain and receive representative tokens on another. Ronin was built for Axie Infinity, one of the biggest plays to earn games ever. In 2021 and early 2022, it was a cultural phenomenon. Filipinos, Brazilians, Venezuelans, people were making real money playing. At its peak, billions of dollars moved through Ronin every month, and all of it flowed through the bridge. A bridge doesn't run itself, it relies on validators, trusted nodes that approve asset transfers. The Ronin bridge had 9 validators to move assets. You need signatures from at least 5 of them. This is called a multisig, a safety mechanism. If you compromise 4 wallets, the bridge stays safe, but if you compromise 5, you own the entire system. In January 2022, Sky Mavis, the company behind Axie Infinity, granted a temporary emergency access permission to one of their validators. It was supposed to be temporary, a quick workaround during an operational crisis. Months later, attackers compromised 4 of the 9 validators through social engineering. They used that forgotten permission as their 5th signature. They didn't need to be brilliant, they just need validators who hadn't cleaned up after themselves. One unrevoked permission, $625 million. So how did the attackers compromise 4 validators in the first place? The answer is embarrassingly simple, a phishing email. From jobskymavis.com, exciting opportunity, blockchain engineer urgent. Someone at Sky Mavis received a spoofed job offer designed to look it came from their own company's recruitment team. The email was personalized. It referenced real projects, real team members, real jargon. It looked legitimate because it was designed to be. Attached was a PDF and operation guide, something an engineer might reasonably want to read. The PDF contained embedded malware, not an obvious rat or keylogger, something more subtle, something that waited. When the PDF was opened, the malware silently exfiltrated the validator's private keys and access credentials from the victim's machine. The victim had no idea the malware left no obvious traces. It simply sent 4 sets of validator credentials to the attacker's command server. For those new to crypto, a private key is different from password. A password can be changed, a private key cannot. If someone has your private key, they own whatever you or it controls forever. In this case, the keys control validator nodes, and validators nodes could sign transactions from the Ronin bridge. The attackers now had the ability to authorize the theft of $625 million, and nobody would know until the money was gone. Let's walk through the validator architecture. This is where the real vulnerability sits. The attackers compromised validators 1 through 4. They gave 4 signatures, but they only needed 1 more. And here's where it gets interesting. Validator 5 wasn't compromised the traditional way. In January, Sky Mavis granted a temporary emergency access permission to own one of their validators. It was supposed to be a quick workaround. When the attackers crafted the theft, they used the old permission as a valid 5th signature. The bridge accepted it. The transaction went through. This is where the crucial lesson. Security isn't just about preventing breaches, it's about housekeeping. 1 overlooked permission, that's all it took. The original permission vote is still on-chain, visible to anyone who cares to look, and the transaction details of the actual wallet is on the screen now. It's a matter of public record. Revocation transaction, the one that should have come in February or March or April, never happened. No revocation, no audit follow-up, just forgotten. Now we move to the moment of theft. The attackers controlled 4 validators plus 1 forgotten permission. They were ready to move 625 million out of the bridge. On March 23rd, 2022, the attackers crafted the first of 2 withdrawal transactions, and the attacks thing I have on the screen now, 173,600 Ethereum at the time. That was about 600 million USD. The transaction was signed into with 4 compromised validators plus the forgotten permission. The bridge saw 5 valid signatures and approved the withdrawal. 4 minutes later, the attackers withdrew 25.5 million USDC, a stablecoin, another 25 million. Both transactions overlaid a total of 625 millions left the Ronin bridge. The attackers was now sitting on more than $500 million in crypto assets. The attackers didn't stick around to celebrate. They knew that once the theft was discovered, the blockchain would become a haunting ground, but they had a window, a small one. It took 6 days for Sky Mavis to realize the bridge had been emptied, 6 days for the news to break, 6 days for exchanges and blockchain analysts to start looking. In those 6 days, the attackers had to move the money fast, far, untraceable, if possible. Which brings us to the part laundering. The first rule of money laundering is don't keep large amounts in one place. 173,600 ETH splits into 50,000 ETH on I think 5 or 6 different wallets. This is called chain peeling or chain hopping. The attackers took the massive balance and structured it into dozens of small wallets, each holding just enough to avoid raising automated alarms, but small enough not to spread suspicion. Using tools like bubble maps.io and Etherscan, analysts can visualize these cluster movements. Each bubble represents a wallet. The size is proportional to the balance. The lines are transfers. Phase 2, the mixer. Tornado Cash is a privacy mixer. It's a smart contract that pools crypto from many users, then redistributes it randomly into several different accounts. In theory, this breaks the on-chain link between sender and receiver. You deposit ETH, receive ETH from the pool, same amount, but now there's no way to trace it back to you. Or so the attackers hoped. In August 2022, the US Treasury sanctioned Tornado Cash and froze deposits tied to the Ronin theft. The mixer that was supposed to hide the money became a trap. Blockchain analysts could still trace the flow because every transaction is permanent, every deposit, every withdrawal, every mixer interaction is recorded. Next, the attacker tried to move some of the funds across blockchains from Ethereum to Polygon, from Polygon to other chains, different blockchains, different networks, harder to trace, or so theory goes. Cross-chain bridges are recorded on both sides. Chain analysts and other blockchain analyst firms maintain databases of bridge movements. The attackers' funds were visible on every chain they touched. Finally, the attackers tried to convert crypto into real money. They needed to get onto a centralized exchange. This is where they made their critical mistake. Centralized exchanges have KYC, know your trust requirements. They monitor deposits, they flag suspicious activities. When deposits linked to the Ronin network theft started arriving, exchanges caught them. Binance, Huobi, Upbit, Kraken all blocked the funds and reported to law enforcement. The attacker had successfully moved 625 million across blockchains, through mixers, across bridges, only to get stuck at one place where they needed to convert it into fiat currency. The money was visible, the path was visible, and the attacker was trapped on the other end. Within weeks, US law enforcement, the FBI and the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, made an announcement. The FBI has identified the DPRK affiliated Lazarus group as responsible for the theft of 173,600 ETH and 25.5 million USDC from the Ronin network on March 23, 2022. The Lazarus Group, a cybercrime organization believed to be sponsored by North Korea government. This wasn't a group of rogue traders, this was a state-sponsored hacking organization, the same group behind the Sony hack and Bangladesh bank theft WannaCry. They steal to fund their government, to fund their nuclear program. Every dollar they steal is a dollar that flows to the North Korea regime. On August 8, 2022, OFAC released sanctions on notice. They listed every wallet address, every mixer instance, every secondary account linked to the Ronin network, and I will have some wallets on screen here. Any US person or entity that interacts with these addresses is breaking the law. Helping the attacker knowingly or unknowingly becomes a federal crime. The blockchain, once thought to be anonymous, had become a public ledger of crime. The attacker had nowhere left to hide. As weeks turns into months, crypto exchanges and blockchain analysts recovered portions of the stolen funds. Binance froze and recovered over 8 million, Crypto.com recovered 3.7 million, Upbit, FTX and others reported seizures. Total recovered 40 to 50 million. Remaining 575 million, mostly still in mixers or cold wallets. Of the 625 million stolen, law enforcement and exchanges recovered roughly 40 to 50 million dollars. The rest remains in limbo, frozen in mixers, locked in Lazarus Group wallets, or already transferred to North Korea regime accounts. The attackers believed crypto was untraceable. They'd learned the hard way that they were wrong. The blockchain doesn't forget every transaction, every wallet, every flow of value. It's all written in stone. The heist should have been undetectable, but it wasn't, because you can't hide a public blockchain. You can only delay the discovery. The lesson for everyone watching: secure your keys. Don't open suspicious attachments. It could be PDFs, Excel sheets, whatever document, and zip files. And when you actually extract or download the file, malware is on your computer. If you found this video useful, share it. If you work in crypto security, remember Ronin, one overlooked permission. That's all it takes. Have a great day. Make sure you comment below what you thought about this heist. There is another heist too I will probably cover in a later video. I think it was from Bybit, but this is insane actually, because I checked one of the wallets and one of the wallets actually holds the crypto still, and that's insane.